Sponsor Katie, her noon.
Part 2 of the book. Let's go.
I was definitely getting Twilight vibes, like I think you mentioned before, when he was climbing up the trellis to Wavy's window, and I was like, why?
Oh yeah, I was kind of thinking that too.
We have it illegally, so I don't know if it's gonna count.
It was interesting. Like, why would he do that? Like, but I mean, I guess to not deal with the mom and deal with all that stuff, but it's still like, doesn't it make you feel weird?
Yeah.
Hi, Alvaro.
It's like everyone else thinks it's weird, kind of, but him and Wavy like don't think it's weird.
Yeah.
Except everyone else is kind of making it or thinking it's weird.
I think that's part of like the problem with not the problem, but the thing with the book, where it's like you completely understand why it's happening, but it's also not okay.
You're right. Yeah. That's what I was thinking, is her world is so different than my world or many other people's worlds that might be like judging the circumstance.
Yeah.
Like my parents aren't like that. I didn't grow up like that. So I don't know, different worlds, different situations, but still like from the outside world, it's uncomfortable and inappropriate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It also reminds me, I was co-teaching an English class once. I usually just teach math, but we were doing a unit on what age someone matures at, and like for the US, we designate that as 21 basically, or 18. There's two different ones for alcohol and like being legally able to take care of yourself. And I wonder where we would place Wavy, like her mental age, because I think we left off, she's like around 12.
Yeah.
But
yeah, like 8th grade.
Mm-hmm.
So because like all of her life events, I feel like she had to grow up so much faster.
Yeah. And she's already thinking about like marriage and like these adult relationships.
Yeah. When she mentioned that.
Kellen's 24, right?
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, just that we also found out Kellen's age. I'm trying to see where I wrote it. I think he was like 24 or 27, right? So he was younger.
There's a 14-year gap.
14?
14.
Like if they were older, that wouldn't be as bad, but she's still a minor. It's like, ugh.
Exactly.
Cringy.
Yeah. And I was explaining this to one of my friends just because I was like, the first like chapter of this when I was reading, I was already making like this squirmy comments, and she's like, what's going on? And I explained the whole story, and I was like, it's just the fact that she's a child. She's a little kid when they met, and you can already see his comments. And then now she's going through, she's a teen, almost a teen, a preteen, but it's still like it's not, it'll be okay until like they're in their, like, let's say she's in the 20s, she's 18 or so, when she's considered an adult. Maybe it's still kind of like cringy, but it's more like meh, it might be okay. But the fact that she's a kid, that's where it's like no.
And remember someone was saying like, oh, it was almost as if Wavy was his daughter, or like he would act that way around his own daughter, but she wasn't.
Someone else's
and
daughter.
Yeah, and it's like, I don't know, like their relationship isn't totally, like father-daughter, because then that would be fine. But it's like a little bit more romantic than that, or a little bit more than that, and I think that's why we're uncomfortable.
But it's also because she's the one that's kind of initiating things. It's not even him. It's really like, it's just weird.
All the kissing is weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's like, I don't know about at that point she was what, like 10 or maybe even like younger. It's like, geez.
Yeah.
Like, how is your brain thinking all that stuff already?
Yeah. And it's also like she's more mature in her thoughts, maybe not in her actions, but some of her thoughts, like romantically with him, and he's like not as mature, because if he's 24 it's like he doesn't really have that many red flags going on as an adult. And I'm sure it's from his past trauma and everything that's going on in his life, clinging on to her because she is giving him the attention he wants. But
he knows.
As an adult,
You mean he doesn't have red flags, like he doesn't think it's wrong?
he knows. I think they were talking about it. Like she can't go live with him. He knows she's not supposed to go live with him. But then he basically lets her live with him by giving her the key and saying she can come whenever she wants. And I think maybe I should take back the red flag comment, but he knows that it's not supposed to happen because other people will judge them, like her parents, because people will say it's a bad thing, but he still wants it to happen. So that's why he gives her the key.
Yeah, I think he's conflicted because even in the beginning, when Wavy's the one inviting him to her bed, he's like, Val's not gonna be okay with this because if she sees me in the bed, that's, and then he's like, oh, I need to go to the restroom, but Val's gonna see me. So he knows that he shouldn't be doing these things, but then he also said like, oh, but what am I gonna tell her, that I was just already comfortable here? So I feel like he's conflicted, but at the same time, I think he's deciding to go with what, like, let's ignore what other people are saying. Like, this is okay. I know this is okay for her because nobody's, like, she's making me feel like I'm important, and I know I feel this, that I make her feel that way too. So in a certain way, I feel like he's just like, you know what, forget what they say. Although he knows it's not okay.
He's looking for tiny excuses to go with the flow, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I agree with you, Judith, like grasping at straws.
Yeah.
But then, like, her actual parental situation is not okay either. And they keep, like, bringing that up, like, her parents, because they're her relatives. It's like they're automatically, like, assumed to be the best for her. But then look what her mom did, like getting in that accident and can't even cook. And it's just so crazy that, like, they think her parents are better than Kellen when look how, each is treating her.
Yeah.
So in regards to the mother, do you guys think it's the drugs, or you think she is not just, she's like mentally ill?
Both, I think.
Well, they mentioned she's bipolar, right?
I don't think so.
I think we diagnosed her.
Yeah, that's the assumption that I'm coming upon too.
Oh, yeah.
But it's not
when I saw
place.
Oh, sorry.
Go ahead, Crystal.
I was just thinking, like, because I was, after watching the video from your guys' first meeting, I remember Katie mentioning the reference to Coraline, the other mother, because she had multiple, like, personalities. I was like, I love that movie, so I was like, I don't know why I thought about it. I was like, oh.
Yeah. In the first video, we were saying that, we were diagnosing her with that, but I don't think the book has defined it or given us the specific information.
I want to say that she is, just because it seems like she's having manic episodes and then not having them, which are the depression ones. So I'm gonna say yes, but I agree. I think it's also the drugs. I just don't know how much of it is which at each given time.
And then we thought, like, the cleanliness was either like OCD or a little schizophrenia. She like doesn't let Wavy talk because she'll get germs
in her mouth.
Yeah.
It was also sad when they mentioned her shaking Wavy, making sure she doesn't talk, because it's the germs, and I also think it's making sure Wavy doesn't tell other people what she sees going on in their home with the drugs and everything. Because they mentioned the sandbox, the kids talking in the sandbox, and then the dad flipped out.
Yeah.
And the mom shook her.
Yeah, they even said, like, what is she gonna, she's so young, who is she gonna tell, what is she gonna say? But then again, she knows so much already that I'm not saying they did right in telling her, like, hey, don't say anything, but at the same time, it's like, you never know, because you know these kids, they when they're young they just catch things, and even though they might not understand it, they'll repeat it, and you know, but it's sad because from there on she didn't say much.
Mm-hmm. At one part I thought that Donald and Val were going to perish in the car accident, and then Wavy would go to CPS and just be like thrown with a foster family. Mm-hmm. And I thought like maybe there was going to be a gap and we would see her like 4 or 5 years later when she is old enough to pursue a relationship with Kellen, but my prediction did not come true.
Yeah.
For the longest time, I kept trying to tell myself it's just like a father-daughter relationship, that they're kind of just like filling that void. Like she didn't have really that father figure growing up, and he didn't really have a family. So I felt like I kept fighting for it. Like, no, it's just father-daughter stuff. But then I got to a point where he talked about her legs, and I was like, hey,
yes, the
no.
Yeah.
I did read somewhere that, because I know we talked about last time, the author grew up, like her dad was a drug dealer, but she also had relationships in her preteens with older men too.
She?
The author, yeah.
Oh.
I was gonna Google her today because I'm like, where is she getting all this? How do you, yeah. And there has to be some like reach of her personal life that is being placed in the book.
Mm-hmm. Huh.
So like what age do you think Kellen would think it would be okay to like, I don't know, take things further, like maybe call her his girlfriend?
I would say like 15, 16. Like when she's like, okay, when she's like, you know, a woman, like, you know, she's had her period or something.
Yeah.
That's tough though, because it's still, she's 15 and he would be 29. Like
that's math.
That's still not, you know, like it's still.
So are you saying it will never be okay? Because I don't think it ever will be, just because of when they met.
No, I'm not saying that it will never be okay. I'm just saying that even if she's 15 and they decide to be calling each other boyfriend and girlfriend, it's still not going to look right because she's still not of age. Whether you consider 18 or 21, she's still not of age. She's still a little kid in school. Like, you know, she's still minor. So I don't think it'll be okay until she's not considered a minor. But I don't think he thinks that way. Maybe it might be 15.
And this is like the 70s small town. Or now we're in the 80s, but like small town, exactly. Midwest.
And that's the thing too, that the way we're thinking is obviously our modern world, and I forget that this was 70s, 80s. So it's different.
Mm-hmm. And also he's not thinking like, oh, I can like be with her when she's this age. He's still kind of like innocent, like just wants to be there for her, have her in his life, but it's also like progressing that way.
Yeah, I still think well, at least he mentioned it. He's like, oh, she's the only one that cares for me. The only one like that the only person that's kind of keeping me alive. And I was like, oh, like he really has nobody. He only has her. And I mean, Wavy doesn't have many people either, you know? So it's like they're saving each other, but at the same time, it's still kind of, you know?
I can also see where she gets confused because besides going to school where she's around her peers, she's basically, in her mind, everyone treats her like an adult at home. She takes care of herself. Her parents, I mean, they kind of leave her on her own. The other people in that like drug ring consider her pretty much an adult in their minds, because they're like, oh, why is she not at this party? She's at the parties, and they don't really blink an eye. Mm-hmm. So how can she not but help but think like an adult or act like an adult? Mm-hmm. Her situation.
Yeah, they definitely let her fend for herself.
Mm-hmm. it was strange the part where she told Kellen, like, oh, I'd make a good wife. And then, she's doing his laundry, cleaning his plates, making him food. And I'm just like, oh my goodness.
And that's when she had to grow up so young. Like she was
Because of her
cooking,
trauma.
cleaning, taking care of her brother when he was 2. Ooh, that's pobrecita.
She missed her childhood, essentially.
One thing I'm curious about is, you know how I think it was part 7, she went to a house she never visited before, and there was a lady, she was calling him Lolene or something like that. Why do you guys think she goes to these houses? Because it was very random. Out of this whole section, it was just that one part.
Oh, because she's not supposed to be eating in front of her like mom, because she'll like the germs. So she is going to different people's houses to steal their food, because she has no other way of getting the food. She won't even eat the food that's in her fridge. I'm not sure why that is. I think it's to like to what?
Her mom will know it's missing, I think, and then punish her.
Yeah. So she's sneaking out to other people's houses to steal their food and feed herself.
Yeah, I think that it's just I don't think she had done that since she was at her aunt's house. So I think it shows like maybe how bad her mental state is, that she's going back to that kind of like rebelling that way. Because if it was just food, she could get out of her own trash or probably figure out a way. But the fact that she went there and she ate like all kinds of stuff, I think it's reflective of like her mental state.
That's a good,
Maybe she's regressing or stressing about something.
And it's food like she doesn't normally get at home. Like they're eating that meatloaf all the time. She was talking about pie and pickles and like, why do people steal like jewelry? It's because it's nice and they know they might not be able to have it for themselves. So if she can get it somewhere else easily and kind of pretend, I don't know, that she's living in these houses or eating this food. I also thought it was interesting. They brought up the how nothing belongs to them.
Yeah.
Which I guess is just not having any disappointment if things are taken away.
Well, I guess if you're dealing with people that are involved in drugs, if they do like what I'd say when the cops go in and they take everything from you.
A raid.
Yeah, if she's accustomed to raid, she kind of knows better that at one point or another she might just have everything else taken away from her.
And she does make that comment that the police like destroy stuff when they come, so they are supposed to like not call it.
I was gonna mention that.
We're on the same wavelength.
Yeah, because it's like you can see how she's getting influenced by her environment. And her specifically saying like, oh, I'm never going to call this deputy, this cop. They ruin everything. The cops are going to come and they're just going to make things worse. And I was like, like, not.
The uncle was weird too. That reminds me of that. Like when the uncle came to visit and then they were having a family dinner, but then later they were fighting. But that's like one of the times where Lisa that she knew not to call the police. That eventually stopped.
Uncle Sean is related to Liam, yes?
His brother.
Got it.
But he becomes involved with the mom, right? That's the deal, I think.
Yeah, I think that was implied that they were definitely using drugs together, but probably had a relationship.
That's what I was just gonna mention, that it's not told, but I feel like it has happened, and I'm just like, oh God, that's like even more drama. And because at some point when Liam wasn't there, I remember Wavy had said, oh yeah, Val and Uncle Sean lived together, and that's like, who is Uncle?
Didn't they say like, oh, he took care of her while he was gone?
Yeah,
like, took care of her.
I kind of feel like Donald is Sean's son because they got when they were talking when he first arrived, they were talking about how old Donald was, and they mixed up the dates a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I knew they did that, but I was like, okay, no biggie. They don't know. Ooh. Ooh.
Well, she gave birth when she was still in jail, right?
Yeah. The thing is, who went to prison first?
Yeah.
We don't have the timeline of like, were they both in prison at the same time at some point? Or was it first Val and then him? Or was it Liam and then her? Like, how many times have they been to prison? We don't know, right?
Right.
Yeah, but if she was like having a relationship even before prison, then. But yeah, you're right. I think it sounds like it was when Liam was in prison. Oh wow, that's a huge thing. I wonder. I mean, that's probably going to come out.
Yeah.
Liam must not know yet, though, if it is true, because he's like, oh, Donald's going to come live with me, and then he completely is rejecting Wavy.
Corina, we are like, I'm sending you these wavelengths. I'm literally going to say the same thing or bring up that section, and you're just like, oh, bloop. Yeah.
Were we roommates?
Yeah. I was thinking about that too, because, like, can you just imagine? He's so innocent. He's such a little, like, he's a little boy.
Mhm.
And to him, he's just going to go live with his dad. But the reality is that he's just going to get groomed to, like, take over, in a sense.
The family business.
Yeah, it's so sad.
But he also doesn't like, talking about Donald, he doesn't like being there without Wavy. Like, I like when Wavy's happy with Kellen, but I don't want to be with my dad by myself. And I was like, ooh.
No, because he feels guilty, not necessarily because he doesn't feel safe.
Yeah.
He
But
feels
then they're
guilty that he's
saying-
happy and she's not happy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because then they were saying like he got him his own motorbike, and so it sounds like he's pretty happy.
Puppies.
Yeah.
This may be a stretch, but I wonder too, like, if it could be flipped, like maybe Wavy is Sean's daughter and Donald is Liam's because of how harshly he rejects her. Or, you know, he just really prefers boys over girls and he's willing to, if Donald is Sean's baby, he's willing to overlook that just because he's a boy and he can pass on the family business.
No, there's a comment that was made, I think in the last section, about how Liam will always pick Val because Val gave him kids, particularly a boy.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's just mainly because
Of the boy thing.
he's a boy. That's literally all it is. I don't necessarily think it's because of they have a different father or something else.
All right, thanks for telling me that part. I missed it, I think.
I don't know where that part is. Yeah.
But it makes sense because he obviously doesn't respect women with Val and all his entourage of ladies
Yeah.
hanging around him.
Yeah.
And I don't know how he looks so good with nice teeth if he's a meth addict.
That's true.
You're
True,
right.
true.
They have all kinds of reflective teeth.
They describe him as being pretty handsome.
Yeah.
Yeah, which reminds me, they brought up the teacher into a chapter, but I don't understand why. Like, she hasn't come up again.
She was Wavy's teacher, like with the younger years, right? So I think
What's that?
she was Wavy's teacher in probably the primary grades, I think. But she was a
Third
teacher
grade.
at Wavy.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think that she's just in the beyond because of the loss of John Lennon being an icon to her and looking for a party to go to drown her sorrows. But that whole part was really awkward. I was imagining like myself going to such a party and like my students' parents are there and I'm just like.
Well, it reminded me of something my therapist said. I think I had said something about going to what's that bar in the corner of Main Street? I know I'm taking you, Judith. The pizza, we went with Alex. I don't know, but there's a bar there.
Fluid
And
state?
they had,
Fluid state?
yeah, thank you. I had mentioned like Fluid State. She's like, oh yeah, I don't go there because all my clients go there, so I can't go there. And it just makes me think of like all the people that, you know, can't go to places that are popular because they have clients there or students or whatever.
Yeah.
Once I went to a bar restaurant in Hollister, and I realized that a lot of people there were like my high school teachers, and it was very so I never went back.
So I teach high school, and I went to a World Market that wasn't even, it's not even in the same area as the school I teach at, but I was buying wine and had like 2 bottles in my hand, and one of my students was like, "Hi, Miss Winters."
Oh no.
Hi.
It was the holidays. It wasn't, I was like getting wine for the holidays, but yeah, it was,
Yeah. Okay. It's Wednesday night.
yeah, Wednesday. But yeah, that was my only occurrence, but it is like awkward when it's.
Do you guys like deny yourself from going locations because of that?
No, because I don't live near the school I teach at, and so I don't do it. I know my dad used to do it because he was a principal in an AP, so he would try to like avoid. I mean, he doesn't go out much anyway, but he would try to avoid sometimes.
I think I don't deny, but I definitely like wear my baseball cap, sunglasses to try to like disguise it.
Are you going incognito?
Because I'm very socially awkward as it is. So just, seeing people in a different context sometimes than where I usually see them, just, it will be like so awkward because I'll just, act very silly. So.
Oh my God.
But
I think that chapter was interesting because I think they're going through all the different adults that have failed these kids. Like this teacher knew kind of what was happening, but I mean, she has her own issues too. But you can kind of see how things end up being the way they are because of certain adults not protecting these kids.
You're talking more about having somebody later on figure out what's going on. They're like, why didn't somebody stop them?
Or even like she knew Wavy was in this type of environment. Maybe it's not even the Kellen thing, but this type of environment with these adults. And she knew maybe in the back of her mind it wasn't right, but she had her own issues going on, and maybe that's why she didn't really do anything about it or like call them out even.
There's one more there. That's interesting because I was wondering the purpose of that chapter. Right. And like if she was going to come back as a character or maybe have a relationship with Kellen in the future, but maybe you're right. Maybe they're just bringing them back. Like you said, that's interesting.
Baby would get jealous though, wasn't she like smelling his jacket to see if there was perfume or something?
Yeah.
Yeah. It was interesting.
Yeah, I almost was like, what if Kellen and Degrassi had like a relationship and then like Wavy was like their daughter, but clearly that's not what Wavy wants.
No,
like that is not happening.
And then wasn't there a part where it wasn't that teacher at that point where let me go back to my notes. Wavy was like, oh, I wish Kellen would slap her and like where was it? But this is a different teacher, yes?
Yeah, it's her Norton, Miss Norton. It's
that was
third grade higher, I think.
Tell how
violent
she's becoming. She's not doing it, but the fact that she's thinking it, it's like.
Is this the teacher that was really mean to her?
I don't know which one it is. I didn't catch the name. I also did not read it. I heard it, so that's why I'm kind of yeah. But it
was the teacher that was mean to her and that she wanted Kellen to slap.
Yes, that one. But I don't remember what section it was.
It's part 2-4.
2-4. Oh yes, yeah. When her name was always on the board, and then she wanted to put it to make it look pretty, and then she thought she was doing it as a joke or something. Yeah, that was sad.
That was also interesting because like Kellen was kind of getting away with like saying he was her dad, that he was Liam, and she like kind of caught him in that, you know.
In a bar fight. Yep.
Like, I know you and your brothers.
Yeah.
That's almost done, you guys.
And Kellen has a brother in prison, we found out.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't know that, right, before?
No, I don't think so. Maybe they mentioned him like fleetingly, but not that he was in prison.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
I wonder what he did. Because, I mean, we also find out that Kellen killed 2 Mexicans. They kept saying Mexicans, and I was like, okay. Just say 2 people. But,
Dudes.
was related to the whole drug dealing and stuff. But I was like, oh my goodness. One, he killed these people, and yeah, you can tell he's not comfortable about it, but he's like, well, I did it. So I'm wondering if the brother was in that business as well. He just got caught.
Kellen has I feel like he has a temper though, because of how I mentioned he was getting into the bar fights, and then a very strong protective instinct with how he beat up that Mazda guy pretty badly. So I wonder, if he's going and he's kind of being like the bodyguard or muscle for Liam, how it hadn't happened before that, something went a little bit extreme.
And the cop said this wasn't his first time with these charges.
No, and then the owner of the bar at one point also like warns him before he even enters the bar and telling him he doesn't want any trouble.
Mm-hmm.
So he definitely has a temper.
No. God, now I'm thinking, let's say they're older and they're together and the temper goes out on her, on Wavy, and then she's left with nobody.
Yeah.
Or he like gets arrested because of that, and then same thing.
Yeah. Oh, geez.
It would be more that, because I noticed that he does have like protective instincts when it comes to Wavy. Like when Liam is talking to her poorly, and he has mentioned a few times that he wants to punch Liam, he wants to shoot him or something because of how he's treating Wavy. So I want to say hopefully it won't get to that point with like violence towards Wavy more than she's already facing.
I think it'd be more violence towards like her dad. I think he might either kill her dad.
That's exactly what I was thinking, yeah.
Or doing something to her. Because if he's killed, I feel like if the author has said that he's already killed, he's going to kill again.
Like foreshadowing.
Yeah. Like, why bring up that point? Because it's kind of I don't know, maybe to build his character, but also I feel like to let the reader know that he could probably do it again.
Yeah, I feel Kellen's downfall will be coming through his involvement with Liam. Like either Liam will get really mad at him and they're going to start getting in a fight based on like the comments and how he thought like he was trying to get with Val, or it'll go the other way where Kellen feels compelled to protect Liam and something goes sour with one of their business deals, and then, something will happen then. Or even though Liam doesn't care about Wavy that much, if he eventually senses like the relationship is more than what he feels, because I feel right now he's not really caring about Wavy, so he's not paying attention to it, maybe he'll get like weird about it and then, fight with Kellen.
Yeah. I definitely think there's going to be
a clash.
Yeah. And someone's going to go to prison or someone's going to die, because that's like the cycle of this drug ring.
Yeah.
Right.
Do you think the mom's going to report?
Oh, I forgot about her. She had like a head injury, right?
She has a nurse that's like in her house right now, so she obviously can't really do much or anything.
She was also already not doing much, so.
Yeah.
Yes, I agree. But I think at this point she's either just gonna be put in the background even more, or somehow that's gonna spark the return of her sister back in Wade's life, like that family.
I was
When
wondering.
she's on pain meds, she must be probably get even more addicted to the drugs.
Oh, that's
Yeah, that's true. I was wondering if one of the other girlfriends wouldn't finish her off now that she was in a weakened state, but that's probably too late right now.
Yeah, the girl. What was it, D? She's always supporting Liam, but like Liam, that's just a whole mess. Is this the first section where we hear about Sandy? Or was she mentioned in the previous section?
I think she was briefly mentioned, but not like much in detail.
Okay, because I was like, who is Sandy? Where did Sandy come out? And then they explained it a little bit more. But I was like, is that like the name for Val? Like when they first brought Sandy in, and she's like, oh, I'm Val Quinn, and I was like, what?
Isn't she not the same one that slept with Kellen in the last?
In the first one? Is it?
I think it is.
It was, yeah, one of those. D and Sandy, I think they're pretty much the same.
I was thinking that because I know, wasn't it D though, the one that slept with Kellen?
Oh God.
I think maybe because she's the one who had her own chapter.
Yeah, because I know D loves Liam, and she's like, oh, fine, I'll be with Kellen and all that.
But he has 2 chicks, right? Aside from the mom.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So is Sandy the other one? Like in the first part where there was 2 girls and Liam went with this other one, and D was like, I'll go with Kellen. So the other lady would be Sandy?
I think so.
Okay. Okay, cool. Thank you for that. I was just like, who is she?
I'm actually, I'll go back and check because I actually have no idea, but that sounds about right.
I felt this was Butch though, because I think he was mentioned before too, and then he had his own chapter as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I am confused by the D Sandy thing.
I think that also Sandy is like talked about as the more just like va-va-voom attractive one, but D is the problem solver, which I thought was interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And the emotional support, because she was saying something like Sandy's there for like looks, but D's there to like help or comfort.
Oh, that's right. They each play a separate role in their relationship with Liam.
Mm-hmm. And then Liam will also like hand them off to other men in the group as well.
But also that's like what Dee thinks of herself, but who knows what Liam thinks of her.
Yeah.
True.
Well, I can't wait to get Liam's perspective.
I hope we did. That would be interesting.
That's true. We haven't gotten
But I feel like
at all.
in the show Sons of Anarchy, that's how the women are treated until they officially become someone's old lady. They're just like interchangeable and they're not respected that much.
Is that what they call them, old lady? Like they're old lady?
Yeah.
At what age? Is an old lady?
I don't know.
Are you saying like 25? Just kidding.
It could be. Could be.
Because I'm thinking grandma. I'm thinking like my grandmother, but
I don't know. If you watch Sons of Anarchy, you'll see.
Oh, yeah, I found it. Who's Sandy? That blonde bitch. It's like, whoa. It's that other girl that. Oh, D.
Yeah, like her best friend said that about her.
Yeah, exactly. Ugh. My goodness.
hey, what happened?
Oh man, yeah, that's an interesting.
What about the end, how they were like kind of fighting Wavy? Wavy got mad at Kellen.
Oh yeah. that was interesting.
Or he was getting jealous, right? Because he thought he was trying to like sneak in with Val or something.
I thought maybe she was hurt. One, with her dad rejecting her. I don't think she cares all that much because she doesn't really want to be around her dad. But also Callan not agreeing to have them like fully move in and, you know, get married.
Okay. I guess the question is, why did she write liar
Oh yeah.
on the thing? Like, what the hell did he lie about?
Oh, maybe that, has he said like I love you to Wavy? Maybe that's what it was.
Yeah, but he's still giving her the key. Like, it's like, it seems like an overreaction, for sure.
Yeah, she was very mad. I agree when he like laughed at her when she said, "Oh, we can get married." Ay.
I think it was a nervous laugh, like, oh, what the hell's going on?
Yeah, because it says he was shocked. And I think she
Yeah.
just took it as a like, oh, so you don't want to be with, you don't actually love me. And I think, yeah, it might be that. So you liar.
Like he didn't really care after all because he wasn't.
Yeah.
I'm also trying to remember if they made like any promises to each other.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't, besides the I love you part. I'll have to go back and look.
I think the only promise was to like look out for each other. But I mean, it's kind of the same thing, I guess.
I'm binding off the scar.
I feel like those last couple chapters, like a lot happened and it went like so fast. Like the accident, and then I was like, I don't know, did you guys have a moment where you were like, is Val alive or not?
I thought she was dead.
And I was like, yeah, and I was like, maybe that's better if she's not. If she is dead.
Hoping she'd be dead.
Yeah.
But then it was like,
my assumption was that they were gonna go to the car accident, they were gonna be dead, or at least one of them was gonna be dead. And then she would go live with Callan. And that was it. And then the story was gonna progress from there on. I didn't really expect this.
The nurse and all that.
Yeah, or the unwillingness to keep her in his place.
That was mean, yeah.
I think they mentioned also at some point, because I also thought the mom was dead, but they don't want the mom to die or something to happen to the parents because then she's going to be taken away to see through CPS or go back to her aunt.
I wonder if she would be like staying with her dad though, if her dad is still alive, but her dad doesn't want her. Like, how would that work?
You'd probably give her up, I think. Maybe.
Has Liam ever dropped her off with was it Brenda and the family? It's always been the mom, right? Rearranging all this.
Mm-hmm.
It's either the mom or somebody that they arranged.
But it's never Liam.
No.
He's never the one. So
I think he knows better not to show up.
No, but I'm saying like he's never arranged someone to like take him to Brenda. So I feel like if it was up to him, she'd end up with strangers or in like foster care or something. Like she'd be like, I don't want her. Not even with like a relative. He's like, yeah, I don't care enough to put her with someone she knows.
Yeah, I agree.
It's sad.
Does it say how old the parents are?
So I gauged the age of the parents. So Val had Wavy when she was a junior in high school. So they're pretty young because they're like what? A junior in high school is 16, 17 maybe? So she's what, 10 now? Or 12? Oh, they're like 28, 29. They're not that old.
Our age.
Yeah. I was just thinking that.
And that's the thing where as I'm reading or as I'm listening to this, I forget that. They're not that old. They're not 30s, 40s, and they're still young and don't really know what they're doing.
And Liam's
And
been
Kellen's younger than them.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. And we think he's old relative to Liam. He's old, but as a human, he's still fairly young.
He's younger than the rest of us.
What was that?
He's younger than the rest of us, like us.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Exactly.
I'm still pretty young.
We're all young.
We're all young.
Okay, I'll take it. Okay, who found this book? Whose idea?
Judith,
Me.
Really?
Yeah.
Where did you find this book?
Darlene suggested it like 3 months ago or 2 months ago.
Uh-huh.
And I decided to pitch it because of the comments for the different reviews where they were like, oh, I read it with my best friend, and we had so many, like, not arguments, but different points of views that I was like, this sounds like a book club book. Although I don't like the topics and stuff like that, but I like that we should be reading these different books and shouldn't stick with one, which mine is romance. Just expand and be like, okay, you know what, different thoughts, and so.
Yeah, it is perfect for book club, and like we've all shed some light on things that others like didn't think about.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's not very a book that's very comfortable for us to read, as Crystal was mentioning over the weekend. But I think it's good to at least look into this, because in reality, this could be happening to people. Yeah, yes, this is fiction, but you did, like Katie said, that the author had a similar story to this. Not necessarily everything that's happening, but so
She's drawing from her own experiences.
yeah, stuff like this is happening, and we just don't know about it. We don't hear about it because we're not in those circles, and we're not. Yeah.
But think about like your kids that you teach, and like they might be going through this kind of stuff, and like my patients that I see, and it's just crazy. Like you never know what someone's going through.
Yeah.
Julie, which twin is that?
This is Vicky. I had Gabby before.
oh my god.
Sorry. It's like kind of crazy right now. We're showering them.
And we all
A little hair.
we all kind of knew about the babies because Karina would show us the little beanies and like so we all know about the babies, although this is the first time you're joining us.
Yeah, last time they were asleep. Okay, we have the blanket Karina made. Here's one of the blankets from Karina.
You make that? Oh my god. Can you make me one?
But we're making something while we're on.
Oh my god, you're making as you're talking.
It's like really big. I can't fit
Oh.
it. And she made us another one, of course. It's upstairs.
That's
Yeah,
awesome. So when we all have babies, should we expect baby blankets?
If you let me know with time.
How long does it take you to make them?
The blankets took a while. It was when I was on summer break / COVID, like, so I don't really know. It just depends, but many hours for sure. I just finished this scarf, and I think I've been working on it for like 5 sessions now, but I'm usually working on something when we're on the book club meetings. That's why I look.
So I should tell you now, even though it's going to be like 10 years from now.
You should, because my cousins are having babies, and one of my cousins just like commissioned a blanket, so I'm going to work on that now.
Ooh.
Hold on.
Oh my god.
It's more motivation when you're getting money, huh?
Yeah, you would think doesn't work like that.
I feel like a blanket like that goes for at least like $150, like handmade.
Yeah.
Let's go on
Lots
Etsy
of
right now
that.
and find out. Now let's see.
I made this one. It was supposed to be a baby blanket, but Rico decided he really liked it, so he got to keep it
Aw.
small. And then
Yeah.
I have this other one that's like teal with purple border.
Oh my god, how
It's
cute.
pretty big. And then this one I made for Rico as a housewarming gift, which he proceeded to wash and ruin the center part of it, so I have to fix it.
Oh, is that the?
I was mad. It's a granny square.
Oh my god, that one's awesome.
You can tell it's ruined. Where?
It's in the middle. It's very small, but they have to be washed on gentle, and he threw it in with a bunch
Yeah,
of.
and air dry, right? Air dry.
Yeah, so there's a hole in the middle right here.
Hmm.
Oh,
But I can.
damn it, Rico.
Yeah. But yeah, I was about to made it very clear he wanted blankets and outfits, so of course I got to work. So
So the next sections, because we decided to separate this into, since March is pretty long, like 5 weeks instead of 4. And the next section, part 3, is pretty short. So I'm thinking we can do part 3, part of part 4. You would read the 1 and 2 of part 4. So it's like 70 pages. So don't read number 3, which is Amy. And I will post it up. This week was really hard for me. It's bad. It's a bad week. But I'll be more consistent on Instagram in case there's any like you forget, especially since it's not just like part 2, part 1 and stuff like that. I will put it up and you can look back and make sure you're reading the right section and not
So
going
you said part 3 and the first 2 chapters of part 4. So don't read chapter 3.
exactly. Don't read Amy, which is 3.
Okay.
let me mark it because I always get confused.
Yeah. Because part 3 is really short, but you also don't want to read all of part 4. So I made sure it was 70-ish for each.
Read 1 and 2 of 4, but not the third one.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Part 4, 1 and 2, no 3.
I have to go like this because I read too fast. I'll read like the first paragraph. So I cover it with sticky notes now. Sweet, I'm excited.
I know, I have a book club at work, but like there's no way we could read only part of the book. Like we would just keep going. And then half of us wouldn't read at all.
Yeah.
This is so nice and organized.
Oh, thank you.
Judith is nice and organized.
Like,
Judith,
can you?
You're so much of a better human being than I am. You have no idea.
Yeah, and even though you say you forgot, I saw your reminder today.
Oh,
Mm.
I'm glad.
No, can you organize my entire life like you organize this book?
I can organize my own life, maybe.
That's why I'm getting you the planner.
Just come
No.
down for a week.
I went to this stationery store that's like it's about a mile from my apartment, and it's all stationery, and it's like I mean, half of you guys are teachers, so you guys will probably.
I spent all my money in there.
Oh my god, dude! I must have spent like $100 on like 4 things. It was so expensive, but it's so worth it. I'm gonna go back.
I love stationery.
So, is 6 okay for you guys? Brissette, like I don't know if you caught on that she's in New York. She used to be in our time, and she moved last month, and I forgot about that. And last time
We can push it back. Last week I was just really exhausted, but
okay. Is 7 okay? Or no. I think 7 did not work for Julie. Yes. I think.
Yeah, probably like maybe I could do 7:30. I might be a little late, or 6.
If 6 works, we can try.
Yeah.
6. And if we have issues or someone's just like, this isn't it, like my week is, or like the end of my week is too messy, or for some, we can accommodate. I definitely set things up. She moved.
Yeah.
sorry.
Yeah, I think it was okay. I was a little chaotic, but last week I was meal prepping chaotic. I have to multitask.
I feel like you still did good though. I saw you do all these things and I was like, oh my God. I was not.
She's still paused, like,
I'm probably
giving
like
in her
dizzy.
input.
Yeah. No, it was,
Yeah.
but if it's
Well,
too
it was extra today because we had family over. But
oh.
next time, if we didn't have that, it would be a little better.
Or if you guys have a better time, it doesn't have to be Sunday. It could be a different day. We just always did
Sunday's
Sunday.
good though. Yeah, Sunday's good.
Any
I like Sunday. It gives me time to read over the weekend because sometimes I don't have as much time during the week.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I was thinking either Saturday or Sunday, but I don't know if you guys did like earlier, like mornings, because mornings. But I don't know. Let me know what you think if you think of
I
something.
think Sunday at 6 is good. But you could always do like a poll.
Yeah, I was thinking of doing that. I was like, oh, okay, maybe. Yeah. But I could do that.
You like polls.
I got used to the polls.
They're fair, huh?
Yeah. The first time I was doing all that Instagram stuff, I was like, what? I don't even know what to do. It took me forever. Now I can do it in. Okay. I guess I'll see you guys next Sunday at 6. And
Okay, have a great week.
have a great week. And a good night.
Stay warm,
Bye,
Brisa.
guys.
Bye.
I know. Here's them.
Bye.
Oh, bye, baby.
Okay, come back.
Oh my gosh, so cute. All right, take care, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Good night. Bye.
Good night.
I always don't know how to